Oh, goody.
Alright, what's up everybody? It is Zombies here again, and today we have another team comp video for you. So today I actually wanted to try out Orcs. I've actually been putting this off for a little while now. A few days ago I ran into some really cool Orc stuff that totally messed me up, and the main kind of thing behind this build here is Thrall. So our start, Garrosh, Thrall, Saurfang. All these characters have orc synergies, and they are also orcs, so they scale very well with each other. But one thing you'll notice is on Thrall, instead of running his Doomhammer, like you see very commonly on a lot of the Valeera builds, you're actually running the Ring of Strength. Now what Ring of Strength does is it is a passive. Whenever a friendly orc is attacked, give them plus 8 health. So this is actually really huge, because in case you haven't noticed, Valeera is a very popular and prominent part of the meta. And because of Valeera becoming such a popular part of the meta, there are now many more characters that are actually trying to physically attack rather than use an attack that doesn't actually involve hitting the opposing character with your character, like a lot of the caster stuff we saw early on in the beginning of the kind of first Mercenaries meta. So with this, now there are more characters swinging in. This really messes them up. Basically almost halves damage from Valeera, and there are some neat synergies with it. So for example, we do have Mak'gora here, which forces the opponent to attack back into us. This ability is really nuts when you're combining it with Thrall to gain another 8 HP when you're forcing them to attack. And since we are scaling our units up by Horde Strength, and using abilities like Saurfang's Mobilizing Strike to give them way more buffs, since we do have the equipment on for another +4/+4, that's +7/+9. So if we look at it, in this first turn, we are Garrosh doesn't buff himself in the first turn. However, he still does some decent damage, but turn 2, you can start getting off your Horde Strength to make him just super unkillable. Then we have Thrall, who is scaling our orcs from turn 1, giving them that +5 attack, and Saurfang will be going last, so hopefully you will have all your orcs already damaged, and that way you get an additional +7/+9, and it basically makes it so your first turn, everything has like over 20 attack at the end of turn 1, which is really nuts. So yeah, that's kind of the goal we're going for here. And we also don't have any casters in the lead, so Valeera doesn't really have as much to beat up on, and it is harder for her to spam her first skill 1 to stay in stealth if we have really big units, because she has to physically attack into them. And that is usually a problem for her against this deck. Now on our backline, so we're doing something a little bit different. The idea with this backline is actually one I got from playing against Earth Pianist quite some time ago. So I saw him running a kind of interesting strategy where with Gul'dan and Diablo on the backbench, you can use Apocalypse with Gul'dan, Siphon Life. Since they're both 6 speed, you can order them, so Diablo goes first, and then that way you're always getting a crit with Siphon Life, and the damage that you're dealing with that is how much you're healing. So it's a big difference between 16 and 32, so being able to deal that critical damage on anything, no matter what type it is, and gaining a lot of health is really big. Most notably, this affects both orcs and demons, so there is synergy here with all of our 4 orcs, because Gul'dan himself is an orc, along with our starting lead, and then Diablo is obviously a demon, so it's just really good healing in the late game to kind of give you that little extra push of survivability. And Gul'dan is also just, even though he's slow, he's really good at nuking protectors, which there are a fair amount of them running around right now, especially a lot of Malfurions on the backbench. So instead of having to slowly chip away through their healing, you can just deal half his health basically for 40 damage in one hit. And yeah, Gul'dan, between that and the combo with Diablo, it is really good. Diablo just generally very good. Obviously, we don't have a ton of speed synergies in this, but just the synergy with Gul'dan alone, along with gaining that extra health as things die, and being able to set up super effective hits with Apocalypse, and the slows have actually been relevant sometimes too, so he's just, all around good character. And last but not least, we have Cookie. Cookie just felt like a natural include for this deck because the whole point of what we're doing here is we're trying to scale up our orcs and keep them alive to a point where they get so big that we can just kind of knock into our opponent's units a few times and have them die and us stay alive. So that additional HP from Cookie is super duper clutch. And again, Cookie is just a generically good unit. Being able to get those quick snipes for that plus 15 health can be really, really insane. The bleed is good in the late game, and comboing fish with Diablo is always a good time. So yeah, that is the general overview of the comp. We're going to get into some games with it, but if you do enjoy these team comp videos, do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It does do a whole ton to help out the channel. And yeah, let's see if we can find some games. Alright, let's see what our opponent has here. So 3 casters. That might be a little worrisome for us, but we're going to hope that means that it's kind of a triple caster backline and that they have a kind of Valeera opener, as I think the Orcs should be doing pretty well against Valeera. And we do like putting our Garrosh in the middle there just to kind of play around units that benefit hitting from the outside, since he is our taunt. Interesting. So, wow. I don't actually know if I've seen this comp before. This is pretty interesting. So it looks like they're rocking Valeera, Khorne, and Anduin. I think that should be fine for us, to be honest. We just start punching in. And we do want to order it this way because we want to gain the attack and make sure this is damaged, so we get the buff on all 3 orcs, because that's kind of the biggest synergy we have with the orcs here is they get really big, and it kind of helps counter Valeera attacks a bit. You also see the synergy with Garrosh's ability there, which is very nice, forcing them to attack into us, and we gain some health off of that, which is very solid. Now we're going to start scaling up with our Garrosh, and just going for more damage here. We will be able to, kind of outscale him, I think, here. The Valeera is only dealing, like, what, 22 damage, and then we negate 8 of that, and she's taking a lot of damage now if she's hitting into our guys. All of our guys have over 20 attack, so that's like a third of her health. They do have the Cornelius healing. Anduin is starting to scale up a bit, though. But again, they don't really have great way of... Well, I guess now they can snipe down something, right? But we do still have 2 very healthy units here. I kind of like going for the Battle Shout, because there's a chance that could kill Valeera, maybe, or get very close. And then we go in there. And then Thrall, we will just attack in. Thrall's probably dead, though. I imagine they're going to try and snipe him down. Yep, that makes sense. Wow, look how much damage we just got on that Anduin. That's nuts. We almost one-shot the Anduin. Alright, so we have to decide what we want to bring in here. Given the board state, I think we want to bring in Diablo. Because things are going to be dying. Ooh, it's Malfurion. So it's a nature backline. Pretty neat. So Cookie and Brukan chilling back there. It might be time to just scale up again. I kind of like that. And let's see, they can kind of snipe me down, sadly. But so I guess we'll try and whirlwind because of that. And then I think we go for the punch into the Anduin to make it slower. Try and get something going next turn. Yeah, let's try it. But our Garrosh, look how big our Garrosh is. 42 attack, 126 health. It's going to be gaining a bunch more health here. Nature could probably get through it eventually, but we are going to have... We still have 2 units on our bench. And a full health Diablo, who's only going to be getting bigger here. Yep, that's about as expected. Okay, so the Anduin is going to grow here, but again, really not that big of a deal. Send out our Gul'dan. So we are going to smack into the Malfurion. We are going to Apocalypse into Siphon Life. Yeah, look at this Garrosh. This comp is just like really nuts if they don't have a way to kill our Garrosh early on. Because all 3 of those starter units are a really big threat. And Thrall, with his health passive, just really hurts a lot of these Valeera comps. Because they just can't deal as much damage as they want to with Valeera as quickly as possible. Alright, so they're rooting. Interesting. That's pretty smart, I would say. But it still forces... I still get a knock into him, which is pretty wild. Now we get a bunch of healing. Kill the Anduin. Very good. And we're just chilling. Like, Diablo's back above 80. Now we can pretty much kill... let's see. So, we're going to deal the 20 there. And... I think maybe we just team up on the Brucon. Just punch it. And... make it smack in.
Job's done.
Because, like, he doesn't have a way to deal 189 damage very quickly, right? Like, Garrosh got out of control. So maybe this really is the Valeera counter we've been looking for. Alright, so they're going for the Chain Lightning. That makes sense. Brucon down, though. Garrosh is still sitting pretty. We can go for... So we definitely want the health, I think. Right now, we can literally just kill Cookie. Yeah, we're doing that. And then just like that, I suppose. Yeah, Garrosh just got way too big. And these numbers, 40, 42 attack is just like ridiculous. Like, especially when you combine it with that Mak'gora ability, forcing them to bop back into you. Oh, that's pretty clever from the opponent. But we get our cookie now, and it should be a pretty easy conclusion here. Just go for some sustainability. This is random.
Job's done.
You could do that to try and hit Valeera, but it doesn't really matter. Valeera just can't do it on her own, and the other two are not surviving this turn. They just don't have the damage output. Oh wow, they actually get the bats. Wow, that's honestly really surprising. However, again, I don't think that's gonna be enough to deal with the now 169 HP Garrosh with 42 attack. And a full health cookie is also nothing to scoff at. It is possible for them to get out of our cookie snipe range again here, but we can just get it the following turn. Malf is really not a threat, and Valeera has to keep dealing damage to herself most of the time if she wants to actually hurt us here. Alright, so it looks like they are going to try and get our cookie down. We are able to kill theirs though. And I think we just go for the Magora. And then go for the kill with our Battle Shout next turn. So Garrosh the MVP here for sure. Nature doing some sneaky things here though. Like look how much that Valeera is healed. It's pretty wild. So they do snipe down our cookie, but we do take care of their mouth. And Battle Shout is just going to wrap it up here. They did a good job taking out the rest of our stuff, but again, just nothing they could do about Garrosh. GG. 104 damage. That's nuts. Hey, 9k. Alright, so, looks like we have 3 protectors here. Interesting. Maybe it is a Valeera Thrall opener. Could definitely see that being the case. Whoa, Brightwing, Mukla. Maybe this is Trigor. This is weird. Very weird. That is okay, though. We're going to start punching into things. No, I think we actually just want to punch into the mouth. Mouth is what's scariest. That healing potential. But nature is kind of weird. Nature doesn't really do a whole lot of damage versus us. Now we're pretty big. And we can start getting up a taunt of our own. And keep on scaling. That's what orcs do, right? Looks like they're going for snipe here, maybe. But they don't have enough to snipe it like that. We are going to lose our unit here, but it does get its attack off, which is really the important thing. And yeah, I think sending in Gul'dan here should be very good. Keeping our orcs nice and healthy. So, how do we want to do this? Well, we can basically guarantee a kill on something. Hopefully the mouth. Yeah, I think that's where we're going to send all of our focus. Let's see if that can do it. Because the healing on the mouth is very annoying right now. Alright, looks like they're going for the root play. Whoa, the root on Thrall. Was not expecting that. Thought they would have gone for it on the Garrosh. Garrosh would have been way better for them.
Job's done.
But they might not be used to playing against orcs. I know the first time I played against orcs, I had no idea what to do. Got absolutely steamrolled. So, here, yeah, I think we just keep, actually, focus the corn, keep scaling up the Garrosh to ridiculous amounts to where he's just going to be one-punching things. I thought this was going to be a Trigor setup, to be honest. It's kind of what I was expecting. But this is very interesting nonetheless.
Job's done.
Ooh, he does absorb a lot of damage there. Oh, was he attacking? Wow. Seems kind of bold to me. But what do I know? Probably want to send out our own Diablo. Alright, so Tyrion. That's a big Tyrion. So we want to keep scaling here. Zap down his dude, and we'll get in a punch. Actually, it might be better to get the fire stomp off. Potentially pop his shield. That'd be pretty good. He's gonna go for a shrink, I guess. But oh, maybe not. Interesting. I went for the Blessing of King, so I'm actually really glad we went for the stomp here, because otherwise that would have prevented our kill. Now we're in a pretty good spot. And it's Illidan, very interesting. So we're just going to go for a kill. Actually, no, we are not. He's probably going to make it small this turn. So we'll go for damage on the Illidan. And we'll go for Battle Shout.
Job's done.
Because he's definitely making us small. Yep. But even making him small, it's a lot of health to get through. And we still have healing. Like, look at all that healing. Illidan's not getting through it, bro. We can kill the Illidan. And this should be a wrap here. Illidan down. Right wing down. And Tyrion's the last one left. GG. Alright, 2-2-2. So it could be a lot of things. We're gonna hope for some Valeera though, because that is kind of what we're trying to target here with our orcs. But it does seem to be doing well against other strategies too. Really digging it so far. Alright, so it looks like we got what we wanted. There is some Valeera here for us to feast on. So let's see. The Valeera does have a way of comboing, so it's going to be hidden. So I think we want to focus down the no, actually we want to focus down the Barden. I think I like that. So they go for the slam. Interesting. Targeting the thrall. So their Varden's pretty much done. We can go for our scaling here. I don't think we actually care a ton about being slow, because their damage output here is not a ton, given that we're scaling up when they're actually attacking into us. Like with Valeera there. Oh, and look at that, they did the math wrong. That's the best thing about Thrall's equipment. It makes people do math wrong, and it is fantastic. Now we can bring in Cookie for a snipe. And Battle Shout seems pretty good. Give us a chance of killing the Valeera. And then going for a Blade Hand could be good. See, they don't have appetizers, but that makes me feel like they do have Diablo Karen in the back, so I don't think I want to have a spawn up. Slowing down the Cookie, that's pretty smart. Ooh, that was a bad random roll on me. Jeez. That was a really bad random roll. I wanted it to hit, like, literally either of the other two. Especially if they have a Cookie to bring in now. It kind of sucks. But we did kill two of their things. Oh, wow, they just give up. Okay. Can't deal with the Garrosh, I guess. I think we played this guy before. I think he's Nature Samuro. Yep, he is Nature Samuro.
Seeks vengeance.
I think Brucon's actually scarier here. Interesting. Alright, so we're getting big. Then we're going to... Yeah, I guess they can snipe this down, potentially, so I think we just want a whirlwind. That way we at least have a chance.
My blade.
Okay, that actually was pretty decent. Pretty decent, all things considered. I think now we bring in Gul'dan. Because I played this guy before, and I think last time the mistake I made was I did not go for the Brucon, and the scaling got kind of out of control. I actually went for the Samuro first last time. I think we're actually going for the Malfurion here. And get some heals on our big orcs. We go for the slow. A lot of AoE here. And we still get the super effective heal, which is very important because that doubles our healing, which is a lot of healing. And we're in a much better position than the first time I played against this Nature Sam comp. Alright, so what are we doing? We're going to deal a bunch of damage there. We are going to continue to scale up with Horde Strength. And then just more damage. Seems pretty good. Seems pretty good to me. Okay, so they're going for the snipe. Which they do get, which is a good play. Damn, it's a shame we're one off of Cookie Snipe here. Gonna bring in Diablo though, because we're gonna be seeing some stuff die here. Let's see. I actually like Battle Shout here, getting Garrosh even bigger and has a potential to... has a 1 in 3 to kill the Smurrow, which would be pretty nuts. Then we'll continue scaling and let's see. We'll go for a Apocalypse. No, I think we actually punch the Cookie in case he tries to set up a snipe somehow. Okay, so it ends up bonking right in there. We go for the bleed. Bleed doesn't really do a lot. Diablo actually gets healed off of the mirror image dying. And we have a 43, 127 Garrosh. Seems pretty good. Yeah, that seems pretty good to me. Yeah, they know. I was just figuring out the best way, but they know it's over. Hey, it's Sign of Times. If you don't know Sign, he is a awesome mercenary streamer. You should go check him out. He streams a lot. He streams more than most other mercenary streamers I know. So definitely go check him out if you have not. I believe his Twitch handle is the same as his name right here. He always has some very spicy brews usually, so I'm curious to see what he's rocking here. Tavish, Lich King, Varden. Interesting. I think I saw him playing this on EU the other day. So, we're focusing the Tavish here because he can't really do a lot on turn 1. Yeah, I like that. I don't really care if he's slowing us a ton. Orcs are naturally slow. But the idea is we get so big, we don't really care about being slow. That's the hope. Yep, there goes the Lich King slow and the Varden. Aimed shot, really not dealing a whole ton of damage. And now we're big. Now we are very large. We can start scaling Garrosh up even further. I think we are going to go for a kill on the Tavish and some damage on the Varden. Again, Lich King really not scaring me a whole ton here, because even if we are very, very slow, they're really not dealing a ton of damage with what's here. Like Tavish is gonna explosive probably, which will hurt a bit, but we don't have any blues, so it's not like super effective or anything. And I'm guessing they have a nature backline, which I think should be okay for this. Alright, more slows. But we're really negating a lot of that Lich King damage too, if you think about it. Now we're getting even bigger. See what they send in here. The interesting thing about nature is sending in just one nature unit right now has got to feel kind of awkward. He's thinking about it. My guess is Brukan, but we can kind of deal with Brukan. And Brukan is really the one thing we need to deal with to kind of defeat the nature backline. There we go. There's Brukan. Pretty much what we wanted to see. So, what are we doing here? We smack in there. He could actually go for a really heads-up play here and taunt with the Lich King, which would kind of mess me up, but I think we still go for our moves here, because again, we are healthy enough to where we should be fine. I think the only thing we have to worry about is potentially if he dealt damage to this to try and cold snap with the Varden, but I don't think there's really too effective of a way of me playing around the cold snap. I guess I could if I go for Battle Shout and Whirlwind, but that's really bad if it's not a cold snap. Oh, he does go for the taunt. That's pretty heads up. Oh, and the chain lightning right off the bat. Very interesting. So we're actually going to lose our Garrosh here, basically. We can get Diablo in, though. Diablo's gonna see a lot of stuff die here.
For the wild.
We actually, I think, go for the whirlwind. Let's see. Malfurion's obviously going to enable some healing here, which is annoying. We actually just go for the punch, just in case.
Job's done.
Yeah, we'll try it like that. I mean, maybe I should have just punched in with the Sorrowfang. It is a lot of damage. Oh, you can cold snap me though too. Oh, he actually goes for the freeze on the Diablo. That's pretty smart, to be honest. So what are we doing here? It's probably Gul'dan. Yeah, it's definitely Gul'dan time. He's got a cookie in the back. You can snipe this down, unfortunately. But there's nothing we can really do about that. We can try and do a summon. And I think we just have to focus the Brucon here.
Job's done.
They did root last turn, so they're not super duper fast. So we could actually win a speed tie for getting another summon here. And the summon would be pretty nice. Gives a chance to make Varden Death Rattle less good. And could give Diablo more health in the long term. Alright, so they heal. Yep, get the snipe on him. Get the slow on the Diablo, so that's a little unfortunate. Because that does make us heal for less, but we do still get the kill on the Brucon. Which is what we wanted. And we're still looking pretty good on health right now. Alright, so what are we doing here? Basically, we just need to go for killing the Malfurion, I think. There could be merit to cookieing with the fish and then going for this so we could snipe next turn. But they could just heal it up before we could snipe it, I think.
Job's done.
Let's try it like that. Then we'll heal next turn. Wow, they're actually going for the fish summon. Interesting. So they're gonna go for like a snap here, I'm guessing is why they did the fish. But I think we still snipe their Malfurion, which can mess up their snap. So let's just try to do the Apocalypse into healing. Let's see if we can get it off. I think we should be fine to do that, right? Because, like, the Malf is slow. Cookie goes for bleed. We still get the kill. Goes for the freeze on the Diablo. That's a good play. But I don't know if it's going to be enough here because we just keep healing. Now we'll heal with our Cookie. We'll go for... Yep, GG. Alright, so we actually did pretty well with this. I think one of the only things I lost to initially was a random nature Samuro build, but I was able to beat that when I ran into it again, just by focusing on the Brukan over the Samuro. Brukan is definitely the threat in that matchup, and I'd say in most nature lead matchups, unless maybe there's a Valeera, definitely want to get rid of her. But this was not a Valeera nature comp, so definitely recommend focusing the Brukan if you run into Nature Sam with this, as it is much more effective than focusing the Samuro, because the Samuro actually gets kind of punished by our Thrall ability. Yeah, but other than that, it did basically what we wanted it to do. I would say this is a pretty solid Valeera counter. I haven't won like 100% of games against Valeera, but I would definitely say I've won more than I have lost against Valeera by a pretty notable margin. And it just feels really good to not have a caster on turn 1 for them to mess with. And the nice thing is we scale fast enough to where our protectors and even our fighter here, they can deal enough damage to opposing units without it having to be super effective. As we saw, Horde Strength just is absolutely nuts with that Tusks of Manaroth ability on it. Gaining 20 health for each enemy character is just like ridiculous. I think we had a few games, at least one or two, where Garrosh got over 200 HP, and there just was not a way for the opponent to deal with it. Like, he just gets way too big, and especially if they have units that have to physically attack in, they can't be affording to take that, 30 plus damage. Makora just was absolutely nuts. We actually got some crazy one-hit kills with it because we had our Garrosh big enough, I think like 35 attacks, so we were actually able to one-hit mercs that were 70 HP or less, which is just nuts. Like, just one-hit killing something off the bench. It's crazy. But yeah, so this comp did way better than I was expecting it to. Even the combo off the bench of Gul'dan and Diablo really pulled its weight. Cookie, all-star as always. He just really did some good things. The Cookie snipe is very deadly, and the few games I did lose, I think at least one or two of them were due to a good timed Cookie snipe on my opponent's part. So definitely be very careful running, or I guess watch out for that, because it can definitely mess you up. Cookie proving again, S tier mercenary. I think he goes a little bit under the radar in terms of how ridiculously good he is, because now Valeera is kind of the new character to hate on for being overpowered, but I think Cookie might just be like the most ridiculous mercenary in the game, because that extra HP he gives us gives so much survivability to our initial units, which just allows them to tear apart the opponent's opener. And then we just have that good late game sustain, where a lot of the times Garrosh is so big he survives into the late game, where we can get Gul'dan and Diablo out, and then we can start healing and dealing more damage, and we continue to scale up Garrosh and Diablo as things die, and it just gets out of control, and then Cookie's just there in the back in case one of our units does end up going down. We have another one to finish things off with. But yeah, this comp worked really well. Definitely recommend giving it a try on the ladder, especially if Valeera is giving you problems, especially if you're seeing a lot of those double protector Valeera leads. We seem to do really well against those, but just most Valeera leads in general. Valeera Grom seems to just have a really tough time with this. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video. If you did enjoy it, do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help out the channel a ton. And other than that, I will see you in the next one. Peace.